Okay, so I just discovered that, well, first of all, Blender 2.9 is out, which is super cool. There's a lot of new things to find and discover and to learn how to use. I've heard that they're adding, or that they've added some more nodes to shaders and things like that. I don't know what those nodes are yet. I remember one of them sounding really cool. I think it had to do specifically with distortion and particle generation, something like that. But I haven't tested any of them out. That is not what I'm going to be doing today. Today we're just going to be finishing this thing. Also, while I'm on the thought process of things changing and updating, so the school year has started for me, which means I don't have as much free time as I did before. So, and I think with this being the 10th Blender a day, especially because the days haven't necessarily been back to back, it might be a better idea to change the name and the format of this to something else. So I'm going to be calling it something along the lines of Weekly Blender. I'm still going to be producing a weekly Blender video. Some can be a little more tutorial-y, others can be more focused on experimenting and trying out random stuff. So if you have any preferences, feel free to let me know if this has been helpful for you or anything along those lines. If you want the videos to be longer, shorter, just let me know. We'll see what we can do. Alright, with that in mind, yes, also, before I forget, so with the update of Blender to Blender 2.9, randomly my showing the keys plugin thing looks like it's no longer supported, or I just have to reinstall it. I'm not sure which, but it just disappeared. So it used to be over here and it's not there anymore. Or maybe it's like an integrated thing now and it's just a redundancy. I don't know. I literally have not explored any of the new things in Blender 2.9. But I'm excited that it's a thing. This is also going to be a shorter video. I have to run to do some work stuff in like half an hour. But yeah, it'll be fun regardless. Okay, so I was working on one shading technique before. This is what it currently looks like. Move that light away. Kind of see. It's kind of gross, creepy looking. And I was going to go with this, except I learned a really cool new technique that I kind of want to try out. So we're going to go ahead and create a new material, and we're going to call this cells. And we're going to go in here. Just first off, notice how big and complicated, I mean it's not that big, but how many nodes there are just to create this skin. But for this new one, you don't need any of those. What you are going to need is a diffuse modifier. And then a color ramp. Oops, not that. Then you're going to need an RGB shader to RGB. And just so we are clear, I did not invent this method at all. I watch a lot of Blender tutorials myself because I like learning how to do new things. And yeah, it was a really cool looking tutorial and I wanted to see how it looked. So I'll actually post a link to that. Give me 1 second. There's a full thing on there. That's kind of the simplified version. Yeah, let me just edit in the description. Give the music credit. I'll put it above the music credit. Okay, that's added in the description if you're interested, but yeah, so I found this really useful. So if you'll notice, if we switch over to rendered, nothing really seems that different immediately, but you start to notice a big difference when you drag that forward. So automatically, the shadows become more defined, and those are actually the representations of the shadows. It's not just a weird skin coloration effect. That's literally a shader being applied, you know, shader to RGB. So that looks pretty good, but then if you turn around and make this a constant, it makes the lines even sharper, which lets you get some really cool images sorted out. So that looks pretty cool to start with, but then, man, with the way it's perfectly split down the face, I'm almost tempted just to make this like white, just to have that contrast. We're not going to. So then what you're going to want to do is with this all ooh, that's kind of cool. Seizure warning. With that all squared away like that, what you're going to do is then color these the way you want. So this weird monstrosity, let's see, it needs more of a dark, kind of like this color, darker. So we'll put it somewhere in there. Yeah, then we'll add another one. And for this color, we'll just take, I mean, it already is that color, so we don't have to do that anymore, but just slightly increase that color. And so you start to get that cell shaded look. And we take that color and increase that a little bit more. Maybe spread these out. How far can we drag this out? Like there. Let's make this one darker. It's hard to tell where it actually is because I'm pretty sure it's kind of just the same. Wait, what's the point of you? Oh. I guess that one can go all the way over. Drag that one there. That one kind of there. And this one is the white. We will take that same color. And that gives you that effect, but then we're going to take this and make it even lighter. And in case you're wondering, yep, that is actually the shadow. Because if I move this around, oh, that's terrifying. Let's grab that and move that along the Y. Yeah, that is the actual shaded effect now. Also, that light looks really cool on the eyeball. So, let's look at it from the front. Let's move this up a little bit. How bright is that light? If we make that a 2000. That's kind of awesome. Duplicate, grab, X, slide. Plot twist, you didn't actually need to hit grab for that. You could have just hit X. So that's my fault. I'm starting to realize he kind of looks like a knockoff Green Goblin. So let's do some shading on those eyes. So those are blackened. What if we turn down and then turn up that clear coat? Roughness doesn't really seem to do anything in the EV generator. Oh, shade smooth. Clear coat's cool. Also, if you turn on the roughness all the way down. Should make them look metallic. Kind of in the middle there. Except, what if we did the same thing that we're doing here to the eyes? So I'm just gonna grab those, control copy, control paste, drag those, and drop them in the base color. And they're gonna look really weird for a second. That's okay, that's because we haven't assigned the actual colors we want. So the white, let's actually make white. Or not. That was not the intended effect, but it kind of makes it just look like his pupils are just huge. So we're not doing that. I do like this idea of multi-layered, just to kind of give it that shaded effect. So we're gonna make this one, actually, you know what, let's do it in reverse increments. So here, then here, then here. You know, I'm actually not digging it, so let's just go back to what we had before. Okay, so there's a general shading. I'm wondering if we can get a little more specific. What happens if we add more, and then make them lighter variants as well? Just add a bunch more. Probably going to control Z this, because I don't really want it to look so much like this, but that does add certain amounts of really cool detail. Look at that. Turn that down a little bit. Actually, I know that I just said I was going to get rid of it, but I think with some tweaking this could actually look really, really cool. Maybe change this up. Okay, not quite that. But maybe a darker hue there. And then this one will make a little bit lighter. That adds more emphasis. Which one of these is the... Ah, it's this one. Okay, let's go back to layout. Okay, I'm digging it. What does it look like shaded flat? Oh, that's horrifying. Okay, let's never do that ever again. If you look at it straight on, it's pretty good. I do like a little bit of the side angle, just to kind of get that perspective. to do out down here. I did have a thought. Let's hop over to edit mode. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was from trying to make the mouth look a little more realistic. Now it just looks like he has a really crooked, kissy face. That's the price of my own hubris. Maybe not hubris. Desire for progress? Whatever. You know what I mean. Let's just say sins and be done with it. Okay, so then we're going to subdivide those. And to object mode. Solid. Let's pop over to sculpt. So I do want to do some smoothing, especially on the back right here. And because I do have the whatchamacallit, symmetry on, it will also smooth out the other side, which is nice. I don't want it to be too smooth, because sometimes humans, or I guess this isn't really human, but sometimes organic creatures do have kind of hard lines. I mean, instances, in some people you have like hard lines on the nose, collarbones, stuff like that, especially tendons. And while you will have more of a gradual curve in those circumstances, you still will have a very abrupt and sudden line. Not entirely sure why, but the symmetry here kind of broke down, even though these are supposed to be, you know, symmetrical and identical. Not sure what's up with that. Ah well, that's life. Do some smoothing right there. I don't really want it to be flat, so let's inflate that. Unless, do I have it on deflate? I do have it on deflate. Is this for a project? No, not really. I kind of just like working on stuff. Kind of like, you know, learning new things and figuring out how things like this work. This one is a longer one, because I was originally trying to make it look a little bit different, and then it's well, I just didn't really like how it looked, so I decided to change it up a little. But yeah, no, this isn't for anything in particular, it's just for fun. Hopefully, just if you're still here, one of the things I'm trying to do, and I'm probably going to put a little more effort into later on, is creating Blender type tutorials, you know, for people who are wanting to learn how to use this software, because I think it's really cool, it's really versatile. If you're interested, that will be a thing to come, and if you're not interested, that's okay too. Debating if I should stretch these out more, or if they're good the way they are. See, the issue I keep running into, though, is, and this is going to ruin it for anyone who's watching this and hasn't seen the first part, but all I can see when I look at this is just a head and then little arms and little legs. And so I'm trying to make them not look like that. Let's just make them little wings. Or what if we... Ah, that makes it kind of look like a hand. I hate it. which means it's perfect. Just need some smoothing. Which, I guess actually the smoothing makes sense, because like, generally speaking, you don't have like sharp points, unless they're thorns or needles or something like that, but like, on organic creatures, you normally don't have like big sharp points. If I smooth this out a little bit more. Yeah, kind of make them look like gross fingers. Still haven't decided what we're going to name this guy. Or if it needs a name. Thinking maybe one of these should be... I don't know, I feel like it should have a different color. But not too different. Something like there. Oh wow. Animated series type stuff. That's awesome. Are you using the just the 2D animator, or is it like full-on 3D sculpting? Because either way, I'll be impressed. I don't think you've seen it, but I did one of these where I was messing around with the 2D animator, and I'm not good at it, but it's still really cool. And so I have total high respect regardless of how it's done. I just think animation with Blender is super cool. Here's a little trick. We're gonna use the light as basically irises by increasing its radius. Except I think by doing that, that creates a terrifying monstrosity. You still get layers though, that's cool. So... full 3D. Dang. Do you use like the I haven't figured out how to do it, but like the bones tool, like I know Blender has the thing where you can rig 3D models in order to do this, yeah, to 3D animate. So are you doing that, or is it like frame by frame change of things, change of location? Yeah. English. It's not my strong suit. Irises look way too big right now. Okay, cool. About the rigging thing. Sorry, there's like a 30-second delay. So sometimes it's hard to see the answers until an awkward amount of time has passed. But that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I still haven't learned how to do the 3D rigging yet. Or I guess not 3D rigging, but like, you know, the rigging. I haven't learned how to do that yet, and it's currently my weakness, but I'm also not using this for a whole lot of animation stuff yet. I say yet as if I have, you know, definite plans for the future, but learn how to automate breathing using the wave modifier. Oh, that's insanely cool. That's really, really cool. I love finding like little tricks and ways to get around things using some of the effects in Blender. Like, oh, sorry, I'm going to interrupt my own train of thought. I want to get some smoothing there, but I'm actually liking how that's looking. Yeah, like one of the most recent things I did, this isn't on YouTube, but I had 2 sets of projects that were both focused on generating planets. I'm just going to pull up the image so I can provide an actual representation. That was Blender, basic system. Yeah, so there's this one, which that was just a recent little side project thing. And the whole thing that I was really excited about with that was I had another planet generation thing that I, you know, could plug random values into and it would generate a random world. But that thing used so many nodes that it like slowed my computer down substantially. And so what would end up happening is that I could generate these worlds, but you know, it took way too many resources and it was just kind of annoying. So I figured out how to take shortcuts and it worked out well, which is really cool. So yeah, I turned around and figured out how to make that new one with like 3 to 5 nodes, and it runs a billion times better. Anyway, point being, I distracted myself with my own train of thought, but point being, it's really cool that you figured out how to do the whole wave modifier thing, because like, that's insane and really cool. And I love when people figure out these little like tips and tricks to do more complicated things with simple means. And then lip syncing. That's so cool. Man, I want to learn how to get these guys animated, but I'm also worried that my computer is going to have a heart attack if I try to do that. But that's super cool. That's really, really awesome. How long did it take you to figure out how to do those? Blender for 6 years. Dang, that's really cool. I can't make that same claim to fame. This has only been like a couple months for me, but I've enjoyed using it so far. But that's really, really cool about the book covers type thing. Yeah, lockdown has definitely been... I mean, it hasn't necessarily been good in a lot of aspects, obviously, but like, I don't know, it... Up until school started today, it gave me... Oops, don't want to do that. Do not want to do that. I want to do this. Let's just eyeball that. That's more or less centered. Yeah, since the lockdown started, I think it's given a lot of people kind of the time and inspiration that they need in order to start working on really cool and out-of-the-box projects. So that's really cool. With this in mind, I do actually have to end the stream because I have to run to work. But it was nice chatting. And I hope your animation goes well, because that's no small undertaking. Alrighty. Well, with that in mind, I am going to disappear. But thank you for joining, thank you for watching, and if you are not watching this live, I hope you have a nice life, I hope things work out, and I don't have a definite day for when I'm going to be posting Blender, or weekly Blender type stuff. When I do have that figured out, I will be sure to let y'all know, probably through the next weekly Blender or something like that. And if I never get it figured out, then it'll just be kind of this random freeform thing, which feels a lot more true to life. Anyway, thank you for joining me for Blender a Day. This is my last Blender a Day before we switch over to something less daily, a little more weekly. But we'll be trying a bunch of new things, so thanks for the time, thanks for the memories, and take care of yourselves out there. Bye.